You will fall in love with me. You will take me away from this place.
Full disclosure, news and commentary number 144 for the 2022. I'm excited. Eagle Fang Karate, Cobra Kai represent. Man, can you believe it? We are here. 2021, which for a lot of people was really miserable, no doubt about it. I wouldn't say it was miserable. I would say that it was a year of struggle and rebuilding, and I'm certainly looking forward to the new year upcoming. I'm looking forward to this week upcoming. We're going to talk about all of it. What is our commentary about? We're going to have a special double subject in the commentary. One is talking about if you applied the Georgia Wrestling History Awards to the national and international scene, what would my picks be? Which I did as a separate video last year, but I thought I would tack it onto this to come out strong. And what Cobra Kai and the new Spider-Man movie have to teach us about what is possible in wrestling. Strange, of course, but that's what I do. Very excited. Let's jump in. I wanted to talk first. First of all, as the Patreon continues to get bigger and bigger, I really appreciate it. Now there's a couple of people who I don't even know who they are who have joined, and that's really awesome. Feel free to chime in. Just a bunch of great things to talk about. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? If you look on gwhnewsandnotes.blogspot.com, a couple of things that you're going to want to keep in mind. Tomorrow night is Tipping Point. And on Tipping Point, it's something that we haven't done before, which is we're going to announce the nominees on tomorrow's Tipping Point, and then you will get an entire week to vote if you are somebody in the wrestling business. And then next week, Tuesday, will be the awards show. A unique way we're doing it. We keep refining. I will say the meeting that we had with the awards committee was absolutely incredible. We try to keep under wraps who's on that award committee. I'll say this, it was a massive upgrade on who is on that committee this year. And they did a great job. And it's safe to say we really worked without restrictions, right? So some of the categories will have 3 nominees. Some will have 4, some will have 5. And we didn't want to restrict ourselves. We just wanted to make sure. I will say this year, more than any other that I can recall, it really is a case of it was an honor to be nominated. I really feel that way. I think people will be really pleased. We really kept in mind about the nominations that came in and put the best people up that we saw fit, and really had good, thorough discussions about things. I'm really excited to announce the nominees tomorrow along with Larry. So you're going to want to tune into that Tipping Point, and then you're going to have a week to vote. And I suggest getting those votes in. Cool. But if you also look on gwhnewsandnotes.blogspot.com, the top 10 stories in Georgia wrestling. Larry killed it. If you haven't read it yet, you really should. But I'm just going to go over his 10 stories. 2021, the year of the comeback, talking about Tank and Reverend Dan in particular. Really amazing. And I couldn't agree with him more. They also mention Nick Halen and Narcissism. All of that stuff, just phenomenal for Larry to point that out. Rookies become stars. This really was the year of the rookie. And I think this is Larry's way of acknowledging we don't have a rookie of the year category because most of the time it it just hadn't been hot like it was hot this year. But rookies did become stars. Carly Bravo got the mention. Um, Hunter James got a mention. You know, I would mention others as well. I think Nathaniel Rose Gold, a lot of the folks from the Nightmare Factory. Just really good year for rookies, and it really is a testament to the health of Georgia wrestling. New promotions coming and going. IWN just fucking whiffing, losing more money than frickin' anybody in frickin' indie Georgia history. Fucking embarrassing. Championship Wrestling from Atlanta fucking up that good stuff. Embarrassing. Everybody's run from that ship. Brian Kanabrowski, I think, has nothing to do with them anymore. They lost their major sponsors. They lost everything of note. They lost the money mark. So Championship Wrestling from Atlanta looks like it's a wrap. And Rampage Pro Wrestling, I think that one's disappointing as well. Larry's right about that. I think out of those three, obviously Rampage is the one that people have the most affection for. But right now, it just doesn't seem to be the show that people really want it to be. The more things stayed the same, right? He talked about how the major promotions stayed dominant. Southern Honor, Action, right? Southern Fried as well. And Mucha Lucha really just killing it. I will say this. I'll give you this advanced preview. I don't think there's been more representation, and you can take that to mean whatever you want as far as the awards go. More different promotions represented, more new voices, more wrestlers of all kinds. I think it's going to be great. And there's going to be a lot of debate. I mean, and of course, voting is going to go how it's going to go. And if people are just going to vote party line, which I think is a dickhead thing to do, but, the boys are allowed to vote however they want to vote. I think if people are really honest with themselves, though, that there are genuinely great alternatives for every single one of those awards that could be thoroughly and easily discussed, which I'm sure Larry and I are going to do in at least some small part tomorrow night. Deathmatch Wrestling makes major inroads. There's just no doubt about that. The rise of IWE as a story, I think is really cool as well. Larry pointed that out. I mean, as Larry said to me, sorry, there was a little glitch there. As Larry said to me, if there was a most improved promoter and promotion award, that IWE most certainly would win it. And I thought that was really cool. And before I go on, I wanted to put this thing, Eric the World Walker, he used to do those great features on people's individual shows, and he did one for IWE, which, by the way, I'm going to be there. So here are the shows where I'm going to be. I'm going to be at IWE, running their locker room on Saturday. I'm going to get back Sunday in time to go to Pro Wrestling Action. So I'm probably going to do a video about that. And as of tonight, I'm planning on going to the Atomic Revolution Wrestling Show in Cocoa Beach, Florida on Thursday. So me and Davey Richards can catch up and talk wrestling and fatherhood. And just, I haven't seen him in a long time. We're really excited about it. So all that's going on because one of my projects is I'm going to get to more wrestling shows this year. I'm going to do more reports and more this, more that. So I'm starting off this first week with a bang. But let's take a look at what Eric the World Walker had to say.
Been a while, hasn't it? Welcome to Eye on Georgia, where I take the hottest shows in the South and put them front and center on the world stage. Today we're talking about IWE, No Retreat, No Surrender, January 8th in Augusta, Georgia. They're looking to build up momentum from their last show that yours truly had the privilege of opening up. And they're looking to build that momentum early for the start of the new year. So let's break it down real quick. First off, we have AC Mack versus Skrilla. Now, what can be said about AC Mack that hasn't already been said a dozen times? Top performer of the year, constantly having the best matches. Skrilla has had an amazing 2021, winning championships. The guy's been all over the place. The name of this game is building momentum to start the year. So, who's going to come out on top? The man who's had the momentum or the one who's building it? Next up, we have Matt Odom and Hunter Young versus Josh Madden and Donovan D'Angelo. Now, last show, Matt Odom and Hunter Young seemed to have formed a tag team. So, is this a start of a new tag team on the scene? Or are Donovan and Madden going to squash this tag team before it even gets started? Next up, you have David Ali and Carly Bravo versus the Ugly Ducklings. Now, both Carly Bravo and David Ali are coming off spectacular years. They both hold championships in IWE. As for the Ugly Ducklings, you have to ask the question, are they going to come in not at 100%, or are they going to use what happened at the last show to spur them forward? Next up, you have Wolf Taylor versus Owen Knight. I got to see some footage of Wolf. Tough, hard-hitting. It's going to bring it. But whether you're on the rise or coming from the outside, Owen Knight is your barrier to entry for Georgia wrestling. So, is Wolf Taylor going to make a name for himself? Or is he going to get stopped at the gate? Next up, you have Viva La Amish versus Exotic Youth. Viva La Amish looking for that big upset win. But I got to ask the questions about Exotic Youth. Are they still hurting from the fight? Or has that built up their confidence to the point to where they just can't be stopped? Next up, you have Sean Legacy versus Slim J. I look at Slim like this. There are 3 active wrestlers in the state of Georgia who are the litmus test, who, if you can hang with them, will undoubtedly prove your worth as a wrestler. And Slim J is one of them. So this is Sean Legacy's chance to establish himself as one of the future stars moving forward in the state of Georgia. Next up, you have the Renegade twins, Charlotte and Robin, the current Mission Pro and CCW Tag Team Champions, taking on Danny Jordan and Heather Monroe. Now, can the current IWE Women's Champion work together with Heather Monroe? Or are the Renegade twins going to come in and continue this steamroller wave of momentum that they built up going into this match? And your main event, the IWE Champion, Joe Black versus Anthony Henry. Folks, what do you really want me to say about this match? Joe Black has been the guy. He's been the man. Anthony Henry taking on the likes of Minoru Suzuki and just being on an absolute tear. Folks, this match is going to be stiff. It's going to be brutal. And it's going to be good. And with that, that's your IWE No Retreat, No Surrender preview for January 8th in Augusta, Georgia. And one little note to all the fine folks and fans at IWE. I will be seeing you again very, very soon. But until then, always remember, keep your eye on the world.
Super great job as always. He always does a really great job. Other news stories. So IWE, will I be there? Yes. And last time a bunch of people came to see me, and a couple of them ended up getting booked, right? So you definitely want to show up for IWE. They're coming, and it's going to be a great show. Joe Black against Anthony Henry, that alone is mind-blowing to me, but the Overkill guys are all over that thing. The women's tag thing, I think, is particularly interesting. The Renegade sisters, Danny Jordan involved, her partner, all that stuff. So definitely you want to show out for that. I'm going to be there. I think Larry might be there as well. I haven't seen Larry in quite some time. Looking forward to that. West Georgia spiraling downward is one of the stories. Ooh, it wasn't all good news. Peach State Wrestling gave up the ghost after their anniversary show. Robert Gibson's All Pro Wrestling Academy quietly shut down in June. Wrestling United still runs every month or two, but hasn't been able to draw flies in Franklin. Ouch. West Georgia Wrestling Villa Rica is virtually the last promotion standing and appears to be doing just fine, thank you. But I mean, I don't know if West Georgia Wrestling came up when we were talking about the nominations at all. So that tells you they're toiling in obscurity, really. Pro Styles Roller Coaster Ride was a great story. AWE Gone for Good. Larry definitely gave them a great mention here and talking about how they were groundbreakers and all of that. And then the passing of Jimmy Rave, of course. So great job as always, Larry has. Other news stories of note on gwhnewsandnotes.blogspot.com. John Johnson putting together that great video about the wrestlers that passed in 2021. The Remembering Jimmy Rave video is pretty amazing. That Pro South put out. Anarchy Wrestling Report from Duke Ingraham. Boy, if Duke will write these reports, along with Rob Rod and Larry doing it regularly and occasionally getting reports from Scott Hensley and myself, dude, this is going to be the best year for GWH that we perhaps have ever had in terms of show reports. I love the way Duke writes. And, you know, if we can get Charles Feltner to write some reports as well, I think we're going to be in really great shape. I think it's really great. This is going to be the year, I think, where GWH especially, but more and more people are acknowledging IWTV, who have done a great job. So that Larry talked about their awards. Southern Fried Report from Rob Rod. Great to see. They're still drawing 200 or more. You know, the action report from Larry as well. I mean, dude, people have tried to argue that other states got it like this. They do not. They do not. It's very exciting, and people should acknowledge the fact that Larry does just a great freaking job. I'm interested. What are shows I'm interested in that are coming up? We need to get somebody to Terminus, y'all. January 16th. It's happening in Atlanta. People need to go. GCW is going to show up in Atlanta at Center Stage on the same night that ICW returns to Chattanooga. This, folks, if you are in or near the Georgia area, this is the craziest time. It's incredible. We got snow in the Panhandle in Florida. This is bonkers time. And this is the time to get out there, get seen, and get it done. Yes, there are promotions that are dropping the ball, but there are many more promotions that are picking it up. And I think that's the much more interesting and significant story. Like I said, I'm going to be at IWE. I'm looking forward to that. What are other things that I have coming up? I am putting out, at last, the finale of the John Moxley book. Oh, by the way, and I got another book to review sent to me. So I'm going to open that up at the end of the John Moxley video, because it could be one of two different books being sent to me to review. So I want to save it as a surprise to myself of which book I received. Somebody, in lieu of sending it to my P.O. box, bought things for me at a store and let me know that they were there. And what were they? I already took them out of the box. One of them is this thing. What the hell is this? This is... Oh, shit. This is a crystal ball. Whoa! You heard that? You heard that? You heard it. Hear it again. Crystal ball. Bro. Oh, now you gonna make me look stupid? You gonna make me look stupid, crystal ball? Yes, the crystal ball is gonna make me look mad stupid. Bro. Bro. Don't tell me I broke this son of a bitch already. That would be a shame. What? God damn it. Look, crystal ball. What? All right. Yeah, I got it to work. Okay, I figured it out. So I actually have a feature that I'm going to use this crystal ball for. It's going to be a prediction. So what does that mean? For Patreon people, I'm going to record a video, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow morning early, and I'm going to privatize it. But I'm going to mark it in time. And then when this event happens that I'm making predictions about, then I will release the video so people can see how on the spot I was. I might make it Patreon. I might make it general public. I haven't decided yet. In any case, that's one thing that I got. But look at this other crazy thing that I got. What am I supposed to do with this? I'm sure this was because this was on sale after Halloween. But it's a raven. But it's not all drugged out and looking for a gig. The raven is with me. Motion activated lights, movement, and sound. What the hell? So I'm going to hook this thing up and start using it and see how it works. Never boring. And people have blessed me with many interesting and cool things. All right. What else is going down? Well, the obvious. Let's get to the commentary. So I said it was twofold. One of them, I was going to talk about what the new season of Cobra Kai and the new Spider-Man movie can teach us about wrestling. But I'm going to look at who I think should win the national awards. And this is just me going off the gut. So there's a good chance I'm wrong about it. Feel free to comment and that kind of thing. Okay. So let's just go to it. I'm making sure I've got it. We'll go from the bottom to the top. Best promo. Eddie Kingston. I think just in general, he was the best promo. He made minor stuff important. He made big stuff great. But if I have to go individual promo, I would say it was CM Punk's first promo in AEW. It got the most attention. It put AEW even more on the map. It inspired people. It inspired wrestling fans. It felt like a breath of fresh air. It instantly elevated AEW. So I would say the best promo person, Eddie Kingston. The best overall, the best individual promo is CM Punk's. Best match. What's the best match I saw? The best match I saw live was John Wayne Murdoch and Eric Iron Man death match. It was on the same night that Logan Creed / Mads Kruger got hurt. But that match was phenomenal. It was amazing. That was the best match I saw live. The best match I saw as far as television goes would be a slight edge. I would give it to Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega's 30-minute draw, slightly over the Adam Page, Bryan Danielson 60-minute draw. Best feud or rivalry. I think that it was undoubtedly AEW versus WWE. I think that rivalry with, NXT getting their ass whipped by Dynamite, and also the kind of shots fired back and forth, to how both of them handled crises. I think there were weaknesses exposed by AEW and more exposed by WWE. I think that's the rivalry that matters the most. Everything else is far secondary. As far as an in-ring wrestling rivalry, I guess the Adam Page, Kenny Omega story was huge. I'm trying to think of a WWE feud that was worth a shit. And it's hard to place one because most of them ended early. Best mentor. in professional wrestling right now, Sting. I think Sting has been booked so successfully and is legitimately giving a rub to Darby Allin that that thing has gone beyond anybody's expectations. So I'm going to give it to Sting. Best referee award. Um, oh my God. Can it be? If you said referees by name that people would know, there's only one, right? And I mean, and you know who I'm talking about. AEW again, right? They've done such a great job, um, to the point where Aubrey Edwards is the referee of the year. She gets the biggest matches. She's ones that the guys definitely ask for. And that's always my definition of that's how you know who the real referee of the year is nationally. Best announcer award. Oh my God, it's Larry Legend. There's not even close. Larry Legend for ICW is the best announcer in the country. Period. And I will broker no discontent on that. Best live event. Um, hmm. It's tricky because I don't think there anybody did a live event that was like top to bottom flawless or just unbelievably great. And I'm just being honest about that. Not one promotion. Um, I will say the one that surprised me the most was how much I loved that last Ring of Honor show. I watched it thinking I was going to do something else during most of it, and I found myself engrossed in that Ring of Honor style of wrestling. I think that event was absolutely phenomenal. And I know that's a surprising answer. And, you know, the last AEW pay-per-view, I would put right there as well. Ring of Honor was the most surprisingly good and kept my attention throughout. And then the last AEW one was the one that I loved because I loved seeing the payoffs and all of that kind of stuff, most definitely. Best Booker. Um, oh, that's really interesting, right? Uh, the obvious answer is Tony Khan, I guess. Um, you know, AEW has improved so much, so greatly. I think they're beginning to close the holes on some of the weaknesses that they have. Hell, even Dark and Elevation got better this year. So whatever he had to do with that, but Dynamite has been the most consistent national show by far out of anybody else's. And it appears by the end of the year, they actually figured out Rampage a little bit as well. Best promoter. My God, look how many empty seats there are at this Raw. Sorry, Raw's going on. The best promoter award. I'm trying to think a little bit out of the box here. The best promoter award, man, it's Ricardo Muchalucha. I mean, even though they did few events, I'm so blown away by the ticket price they're getting. So just to put it in perspective, $50 is their general admission. They're drawing over 1,000 people. Their cheapest ticket for kids is $25. And they also sell tickets for $80, $90, and $100, and they sell those out. There's nobody proportionally doing a better job as a promoter in the country. How do you like them apples? Does that shock you? Best manager, it's Paul Heyman. In fact, the Paul Heyman promo tonight cemented that, and cemented in my mind that Paul Heyman is the greatest manager in wrestling history. We're getting to live and see that in real time. Because he's gotten better and better. And right now he's perfect and invaluable. Best tag team or stable. I'm a sucker for Santana and Ortiz. But as far as a stable goes, I mean, it's the Elite, right? When you factor in the Bucks, Kenny Omega, the huge stuff they did. They actually kept the Good Brothers semi-relevant most of the time, and then they added Adam Cole. I mean, to me, it seems like the Elite, obviously. Very obviously. Though if they had kept them together the whole time, it probably would have been the Hurt Business. I thought that was a absolutely phenomenal group. And then, as usual, the WWE just fucked it up. Ted Allen Legends Award. I think when you're looking on a national scale, the Legends Award, it's an interesting notion. If I had to pick somebody, this was the year, I'll say, that I found myself. I mean, it's really hard to say. I mean, because what do you say? But I found myself kind of, and maybe because it was because of the Dark Side of the Ring, which may have happened technically in 2020, but I found myself thinking about and invoking in my head Bruiser Brody all the time this year. And which guys were the most Brody-like and all of that. Other than that, if you don't want to say Bruiser Brody, I would say Brody Lee. I think him passing more than a year ago, but then his sort of spirit living on in AEW. Because it's Monday night, you know what that means. I mean, I think that spirit, I think Brody Lee, his kind of aura has contributed towards the strengthening of AEW. And the way that his memorial was handled influences wrestling to this day, down to how Jimmy Rave has been honored in promotions as well. So, yeah, I'll give it to Brody Lee. Sure. Best female performer, I think this is Bianca Belair, with a close second to Britt Baker, DMD. But Bianca Belair captured a certain kind of phenomenon. And again, she would have been the runaway winner if they didn't fuck up the booking. God, how many stories are there like that with WWE? It's incredible. Best male performer, keeping in mind that it isn't about who's the best wrestler, it's about who's the most over-ish while running a gimmick. I think it's Matt Riddle. Best male performer is Matt Riddle. Just a phenomenal sort of talent that's finally getting a chance to shine. Even like when he goes over to NXT with MSK and stuff, he's delightful. And it's a shtick that should have already worn thin, but just by sheer charisma, he's keeping it going. Best Technician Award. Oh my God, it's Bryan Danielson by a million miles. That doesn't even need to be explained at this point, does it? And overall wrestler, it's Kenny Omega. He did the most by far. And there we go. All right. Briefly, Cobra Kai, because I don't want to spoil it, and Spider-Man. Something that both of them did that is amazing. Cobra Kai Season 4 redeemed Karate Kid 3, which is a shit movie. It's terrible. I quote it all the time. In the same way, Rocky 5 is a shit movie that I quote all the time, right? But it has redeemed. It is done so well that it redeems the stuff that wasn't so great. Even Karate Kid 2, which I personally adore and love, I can acknowledge the fact that it wasn't a great movie. But it redeems that. And this Spider-Man redeems all the other movies before it. And it appears to just make everything cohesive that shouldn't have been. That's what's amazing about it. And that's my call to wrestling promotions. It ain't too late. If you need heat, you can get it. And you can invoke the mistakes of the past because that's still part of your history. And by doing great stuff now, but alluding to the things that you have established, you could subsequently almost rewrite history. That's what we're seeing. You can do stuff now that is so great, but doesn't pretend. It doesn't completely hit a reset and pretend that stuff that happened before. It acknowledges the things that happened before, but then uses them so effectively that it retroactively fixes the mistakes of the past while acknowledging them somewhat. God, it almost makes you wish they would do Game of Thrones and somehow fix that season 8 shit. It makes you imagine the possibilities, and we should be thrilled that we live in this time. And it gives me hope for WWE. There's still time to fix this shit and really right the ship. Like, I'm looking at Bianca Belair and going, like, they can still make that right. Do I think they are? I don't think that they've shown a pattern of being willing to do it, but it can be done. This is art. And I'm really proud of Cobra Kai Season 4, and I'm proud of this new Spider-Man movie. I mean, it was exhilarating, and even my kids got into it in a different way that I did. But it's never too late to be great. And that greatness spreads. Momentum is real, and what we're seeing is, hell, momentum can even carry through to the past. And I don't know about you, but after the last 2 or 3 years in general, the notion that you can do something so great now that you can reverse some of the misfortunes of the past, it's a pretty great way to see a year. And it's a pretty great goal to have. This has been Full Disclosure.